So if you've been watching my videos at all, you will know that there is a large machine with a large amount of Gameboys. Here we go, if you've forgotten already. Since the last time you've seen it, it's on wheels, so I can use it as a room partition. It's pretty good. But the problem is basically you may have seen before I shot a video for my song Human Procrastination, and I had this in the background. Well, the truth be told, it was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare to get this thing to the studio, which was literally only down the road. It's fragile and it is very heavy. It doesn't fit in the van. Yeah, I didn't think about that. So I'm going to do what I did with the Furbies and make them more travel worthy so that I can still take Gameboys on tour for people to hear the, you know, the raw 8-bit kind of... But you may remember in the past, this wasn't the first thing that I did with Gameboys. No, I actually made something called the Gameboy Triple Oscillator. And yeah, this version is sadly looking a little bit sorry for itself. So I think today I'm going to actually rebuild this and bring it back to its former glory because, yeah, I need to take some Gameboys on the road, and this seems to make the most sense of what to take it as. I mean, I might even just completely rebuild it. Who knows? So now the panel is completely empty. What I need to do is I need to drill some holes a bit bigger to fit, instead of banana jack cables, and I'm going to keep it pretty much original to this. So I'm just going to give it a spray in black so it fits with the rest of the modern kind of Cosmo format. So now I've loaded the panel with all of the parts. Before it was actually banana jacks, so I had to make the holes bigger for big jacks to go in. Basically each Game Boy has two outputs, left and right, and a CV input. We'll talk about that in a little bit. There's another switch as well because I've learned a lot in the last 3 years, so yeah, there's a few adjustments. Now I've just got to actually put the Game Boy fronts in. I'm going to use the same as the ones from before, and then I'm going to put some new back ones in because the other ones are a little bit rough, and I'm going to put these in the spare box, but I'm just going to use some other ones for now and keep these for another time. Okay, so I finished putting it together, and yeah, looking pretty snazzy on the back. It's a lot neater than it was before, I can promise you that, because last time, yeah, it was held together mainly with cable ties. Now it's looking a little bit more fancy. Basically what's going on is this is an ARDUINOBOY. This basically takes the MIDI signal and just sends it to the free Gameboys. And then there's free circuitbenders.co.uk LTC1799 pitch modulation chips, and what these do is they change the pitch, so it kind of acts like the triple oscillator that you may know. But yeah, it's plugged in to a Eurorack power supply. I'm going to turn it over, and then hopefully it's just going to be able to be powered on. Oh, I hope so. Oh, damn! Oh yeah, I forgot to put part cartridges in it, but oh my god, it actually works. Oh, that is amazing. But I'm going to leave it because it's pretty late. I'm going to go to bed and come back to it in the morning. Hopefully it works. Program the Arduino, pop some codes in there, and then, yeah, plug it into the synthesizer. Whoa. So it's pretty much done. As you can see, it's done. I also built this thing, which is basically a cut down version of this thing, which is basically called the MIDI control interface. And yeah, that's what this thing is. So this actually took a few hours. It took a lot longer than I was expecting. It's got a PCB board from the MIDI conditioners in there as well, so you know, at least I've learned some things and I'm putting them in here. So yeah, now I've just got to put them into the case and hopefully it all works with a filter on the end of it all. I don't know. Also in this case, I'm going to add a couple of these LFOs, which I will talk about in a future episode, but the actual PCB and the panel are actually available for these in the shop with the bill of material and stuff. So if you want to get ahead and like build these very fancy multi-waveform voltage controlled LFOs that have got the Electric Druid VC LFO 10 chip in there, well, go ahead. But right now I'm just going to put these in to kind of automate the sounds in the Gameboys. So now it's plugged in and turned on. It's got the original backlights in it that were from the Triple Oscillator before, and yeah, it's got the same issue that it's always had, that you can't see what the heck is on the screen. I probably at some point should sort this out, but right now I'm really running out of time before the next gig, which is in Northampton, which is tomorrow. So yeah, I've got to get some get this working as much as I can. So it's got the Gameboys going into this filter, and then it's also got this CCC MIDI injector, which has also got Yuha's unison polyphonic kind of Arduino code in there. You should check out a link to one of the most recent Game Boy Mega Machine updates, because it's a really cool piece of code. But yeah, if you can listen, like, it's actually got some LFOs going on over here, like I said. Basically, it just sends a CC command to CC01 on MIDI channel 3, and you get to scan through the different wave shapes in the wavetable synthesizer channel. Oh yeah! So I'm going to play the riff that is from one of the first Game Boy Mega Machine updates, which had 8 Game Boys playing it. Now it's only got 3 Game Boys in this instance playing it, but it sounds pretty much the same. You can see it moving there. And then flick the CPUs. Needless to say, it's also got all of the same functions that it used to have in the other videos. So yeah, that's the Gameboy Triple Oscillator Reborn. I think it still has quite a lot of characteristics shared with the Game Boy Mega Machine. I think that's probably down to the fact that they're Game Boys, but they don't sound like Game Boys when they're stacked up like this. They sound like cold and eerie, yet endearing in a strange way. I don't know, it makes me feel all melancholic and make me feel all cold but warm inside. I don't know whether that makes sense, but yeah. I know it hasn't made a complete amount of sense what's going on in the back. There's an ARDUINOBOY, and then there's 3 CPU modulator LTC 1799 chips from circuitbenders.co.uk, and it's all powered by the Eurorack power supply with some 5-volt regulators. I mean, that might sound like gobbledygook to some people, but it is a relatively simple project, to the point that I'm actually going to work on a panel and a PCB project for this. So you can actually make your own. And I'm going to start building that soon, and I'm hoping it'll be ready probably by December after a few more modules, including the LFOs, which just came out today, as well as a load of other different types that I've got coming. I think there's an oscillator after that. But yeah, if you can't tell, I'm a little bit rushed off my feet because I tried to get this done for the gig tomorrow, which is in Northampton. And finally it's done, but it took a few more days longer than I was hoping. Thanks a lot to the Patreon supporters for making stuff like this possible. And a fair bit of audio from this video is available to download, to kind of mess around with if you want, on the Patreon as well. So go and check that over there. It helps a heck of a lot. I'll be back on the Game Boy Mega Machine very soon. And I've been Luke Mum No Computer. Don't forget to subscribe and don't be scared to try it. Right, I've got to go back to practicing.